One of my biggest learnings in marketing was that words matter, and specifically definitions, semantics, and vocabulary. And it's really dependent on what kind of area in marketing you're focused on, whether it's social media, you're doing pay per click ads, or more specifically for me, it's always been market research. And typically, I run surveys, interviews, and before you do those things where it becomes official and you gather data, you typically have your first draft. And this draft is reviewed by supervisors, managers, and your team. And before you do this, one thing that's really easy to lose track of is understanding semantics. It's not typically caught by everyone because when we work in teams, homogenous teams, it's really easy to have a shared understanding of vocabs. And it's why we say when you write these surveys, when you write these interviews, when you talk about things that are really technical online, it's best to dumb it down. And majority of the country, the US country, is actually illiterate. I think it's about 50% of people or so can't read above a sixth grade level. And so when we think about writing surveys, it's important to frame questions super simple and make sure that it's related to the goal. Another thing that I want to point out is semantics matter, and especially when you're trying to measure something. So something that's recently happened for me in my professional job is where we're asking which of these attributes that we're testing do you already think exist within the company or the companies within the industry. And we were running a max diff where you have an anchor that kind of dictates your utility score. And so when it comes to creating the anchor question, it asks, what do you expect or what would influence your decision to buy this? Now, those two questions are really different. And I had thought that I was asking the same two questions. But really, when you look at it, you're asking about two different things. And that way of asking is going to be perceived differently in someone's mind. And so it's really important that you get semantics correctly. Another example of this is I was going to ask a survey question of how important do you think this item is? And then I was also going to ask, how satisfied are you with this item? And those two things seem quite synonymous, important and I forgot what the other one exactly was, but rather, I might think that they mean the same thing, but important and likelihood or influence, those are all different words with different meanings, and that can always influence how your data goes. And so it's important that you define these things, especially when it comes to looking at secondary research studies. You'll see that people are defining things that they are studying because it's super clear and it's super easy to mess it up. For example, looking at caregiver studies, people are defining what it means to be a caregiver. Everyone knows what it means to be a caregiver, but we still do it anyways because not everyone has the same definition.